Good morning and happy Monday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chum Changes, live and recorded for anybody that might be new to the show. What we do is typically go over crypto news. I update myself, bring you guys along for the ride. Let's see who's here in the chat, and then we'll get into this. Mr. Andrew Masad, good to see you, buddy. We have Dom G, Nerd Beast, All Set Miner, or All Set. I always call you All Set Miner. I never get that name change out of my head. We have Black Hat Team, good to see you, buddy. Overboard Tech, my man, appreciate you, buddy. Good to see you. Let's see, Steven Cicero, Max Voltage, thanks for being here, buddy. Charles Harris, look at you. What's up, man? Good to see you, buddy. Miss Pocket Change, up and Adam, bright and early. Let's see who else is here. Crypto 440, good morning. Nerd Beast, I might have already said that, but let's get into this. All right, Bitcoin 67,066 bucks, looking pretty good. Everything is looks like it's on the up and up. Solana is pushing up 188 bucks, up 7.39% today. We have Ethereum at 34.48, looking pretty good. Toncoin is up to it's up 9.25%, up to $5.38. BNB is at 581 bucks. Looks like Dogecoin's at 17 cents, down a little bit on the day, 1.44%. But meme coins, they're kind of they've been actually impressing me this whole time. Dogecoin, I think, has much more to grow, but who knows what's going to happen with all these coins on this run when altcoin season happens. All right, Caspa 14 cents, 14.7, almost 15 cents. Looks like we have ICP up 21.33% at $17.28. LTC is almost at 90 bucks, 89.15. We have let's see, or 89.50. Why did I say 0.15? 89.15. Sorry, I'm not feeling that great this morning, guys, so I apologize if there's any hiccups, but I'm gonna try my best to push through this. All right, crypto bubbles over here. Biggest earner on the day seems to be the ICP. Like we already said, 22.5% on the day. We have WIF up 18.4%. This is $2.70 as of right now. What is this? Ondo up 13% at 90 cents. We have AR up 10.7%, which is Arweave, $39.81. Near is at $7.33, up 12.2%. We have Gala, which is up 11.3% today at 6 cents, 6.79. Let's see, Jupiter's doing all right, 11.2% up on the day. We have $1.31, not too bad. Let's see if you guys have any questions, feel free just to ask in the chat. All right, let's check out the biggest earner on the week before we move on. Oh man, looks like this one, 89.5% Ondo over here at 90 cents. Interesting. That's a lot. Damn, that thing had a nice push. ICP is up 40% on the entire week. Again, it's only Monday, so I believe it goes Monday to Monday over here on Crypto Bubbles when you check the weekly, or whatever day you're actually going off of. All right, let's go flashbang. Check out Fear and Greed Index, looking like 75. Honestly, it's pretty decent. I think we're in like a neutral territory right now. I'm not sure people know where things are gonna go. You know, Bitcoin halving is less than a month away. We have just a lot of uncertainty in the market, and you know what happens when the big guys are accumulating. People are either not talking about it or they're talking shit about it, so the price goes down so they can actually purchase more. So who knows what happens, but we will see shortly. All right, top 10 coins over here on CoinGecko by CoinMarketCap. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, XRP, Lido Staked, Ether, USDC, Dogecoin, and Cardano. Cardano's in 10th place. I think Cardano is actually a pretty decent buy as of right now. It's 64 cents. It's still a top 10 coin, so top 10 coins are usually hard to like get a lot of gains on. But if you guys look at the all-time high, I swapped some into it the other day, so I now hold some ADA. Its all-time high was $3.09, and every run, let's see, let's go to the max. Every bull run like this, 2017 had a peak out, 2021 had a peak out. So I'm assuming we're gonna see some sort of pump with ADA. Not financial advice or whatever. I've no links to this coin at all. I've never owned any until yesterday or 2 days ago, so don't take that as you will. Do what you want. We have Avalanche in 11th place. Nice, not too bad. Shiba actually down in 13th today at a $16 billion market cap. Not too bad. I'm still shocked Shiba even got to 11th place. That was pretty crazy. We have Ethereum Classic in 30th place at $31.18. Let's see. Carl Code got derailed visiting the train. Yeah, seriously. I got like sick or something from somebody in that train museum. I took my kid to like this. It was like a auditorium I don't know, like a fair for like trains, and I knew my kid would like it. I'm not like into model trains, but whatever. I brought him there and I got something because I don't feel good. So it is what it is. Anyways, all right, Hedera. I actually got some of this the other day too, because I think this is down a bit. I don't know what the all-time high is on this, but let's see, 56 cents over 2 years ago. Wow, it's down 80%. So I got some of this too the other day. I don't know if anybody else is into Hedera, but September 2021 looks like that's when it had its run up. So who knows? I guess we'll see. It was worth a gamble at 11 cents. Why not grab a little bit of it, get a small bag. Let's see, anything else really sticking out at me? Nothing crazy. Renders at $11 still. Man, Renders doing like really good. I mean, it's obviously having a pullback right now, but it's at a $4 billion market cap. I think it's doing pretty well. Caspa, I think we have I think we're gonna see another push. I actually watched a video briefly this morning. It's not worth like playing, but the guy showed like a ribbon band, and the way that the Caspa chart was playing out, it seems like Caspa is going to, once it breaks a certain level, about 16 cents or so, we'll probably see it rocket up to a new level. But I guess we'll have to see. But anyways, Caspa's doing pretty good. 14.7. It's holding really well actually up here. Let's see what the max is. You guys can see, I think it's creating another flag, but we'll see. Actually, this is a pretty decent wick down here. I actually swapped into this at 11 cents the other day as well. Got some more Caspa. So anyways, all right, let's move on to the mining segment of things. You guys know I like to timestamp this stuff, see what we're looking like today. Biggest earner of the day, KS5 Pro 21 terahash unit, making $163 a day. We have the KS5 20 terahash unit making $155 a day. The BMKS Max 11 terahash unit making $77 a day. We have the Windminer K9 making $75.87 a day. The KS3 from Ice River is making $57.40 a day, and the KS3M is making $40.65. Yeti, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Miss Pocket Change, what are you saying? No, I don't think. Oh, my wife's trolling me in the chat. She's the worst. Anyways, Bitmain Antminer L7 9050. This is a unit I have down in Terra Hosting. Shout out to them. 10 cents if you guys are looking at hosting with them. I pay like close to 30, so it was totally worth you know, getting my stuff hosted, even though it was hard to let things go. It's making $14.39 a day down there running. Again, this is merge mining Doge and Litecoin, so it's yeah, I don't know, it's totally worth it to me. The thing's been killing it. L7, I've been debating on if I want to buy another one, but I think I'm just gonna wait until see if the L9 comes out. I don't know if that's even a thing. Let's see, Leo Lustig, good to see you, buddy. He said good morning, thank you for the $5 super chat, man. He said good morning everybody, just wanted to stop in and wish you all a great day. Don't forget to smash those likes. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for that. I'm sure we're gonna hear DJ screaming in just a second. All right, let's see anything else sticking out at us. I have the S19K Pro 120 terahash unit. Looks like Digibyte is on the top of the charts here today, making $7.70 a day. Digibyte, hold on, let's see. It's up 5.46 on the day. It's at a cent, almost a cent and a half. I wonder. Digibyte's not on any tier 1 exchanges yet either, huh? Oh, it's on Binance. It's on Binance, so it's just not on. It's not on Coinbase or Kraken. Interesting. Is anybody mining Digibyte? Is anybody mining Digibyte over Bitcoin? If you have a Bitcoin miner, that's interesting to see. Actually, Digibyte's way more profitable right now. Kind of neat. There he is. There's DJ screaming. Thank you very much again for the super chat. Appreciate you, Mr. Leo Lustig. We have Steven Cicero said Digibyte is on unmineable. Yes, I'm sure it is. I was just talking about selling it. But yeah, Ice River KS1 looking like we're making $6.66 a day. The KS2 is making $13.39 a day, and the KS0 Pro, wherever it is, right here, 200 gigahash unit, making $1.38 a day. It's been going down a little bit, but you know what? I'm still making over $1 a day on these units at my current rate, so can't complain. It is what it is. Let's see what the original is. KS0 original 100 gigahash unit making 65 cents a day. All right, let's move on to GPUs. See what most profitable coin is today. Looks like Pyron highest revenue. We have Gram and What is this one? What is it called? I can't remember. Mining pool stats.stream, new coins. Whosat, that's what it is. Whosat. The Pyron hash fork. Whosat, is that what this one is? If I'm not mistaken. Yes. Yes. I don't know why the logo looks different from over here. Mining pool stats. This looks like the Northern Bank symbol. I don't know why this logo is different. But anyways, Whosat. Is anybody mining this? Anybody mining Whosat? Or Graham? I heard both of these are obviously doing really decent as of right now. And I heard that Warthog is actually doing well too. I don't know. I heard about that a while ago. I just never been into it. Let's see. It's the old logo. Okay, interesting. What's up, mister? I need my card. Good to see you. Good to see you. Boinker, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, buddy. Haven't seen you in a minute. Let's go. Mr. Endless Mining is in the house. Is he? I don't even see him. Mr. Yeti tagged him. Oh, there he is. Mr. Endless Mining. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Looks like we have Conflux here on the top of the charts for the 3080 Ti. We have Hypera on the top of the charts, the 3080. Let's see. That's pretty much it. Calor for the 3090 Ti and the 170HX. Looks like that's killing it on Calor. Kapow algorithm. The CMP 90HX as well on Calor. Not too bad. All right, so you guys get a little bit, or a few coins rather, to check out, but yeah, who knows? Anyways, new coins of the day. Looks like we don't really. Oh wait, what's this? Mr. Midwest Mining, thank you so much for the gifted membership, dude. You're awesome. Actually, you gifted 2. Did you gift 2? Dude, you're insane. Thank you so much. I Need My COD got one, and Kyle Rosa, dude, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Vixel, what is this? Vixel, this 45 hours ago. This was about 2 days ago. X11 algo. What is this coin? Another shit meme coin. Is that what's happening? If you guys are going to go to these sites, please don't do it on your normal PC that you use every day. Vixel, what is this? Technological coin. Secure, anonymous, fast, global. Look at the evil Discord face they got. All right, well, new coin about 48 hours ago. I don't know anything about this, but proof of work, X11. Interesting. Again, shout out to Mr. Midwest Mining. Thank you for that. All right, without further ado, guys, I feel like crap, so I'm done talking. Let's get into the videos of the day. Bloomberg Television, what happened to the Bitcoin rally? Let's see what they got to say over here, guys. Hit that like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. Let's do it.
What do you think is happening right now with Bitcoin?
Well, usually I do not like to predict price, but I think we're at a very good time. Of course, there's some consolidation. There's a saying, I guess, in the space that, hey, if you're not ready for my 20% drops, you're certainly not ready for my 600% increases. But overall, what we're seeing is some consolidation. The ETFs just launched. We've seen tremendous run up in a very short period of time. A little bit of pullback is happening, but all of the macro climate remains extremely bullish for Bitcoin, primarily due to what people know about the long term, which is what we care about most at BitGo, which is long-term macro. Looks like we're still going to be very solid with having a static supply of Bitcoin being something that you can count on that doesn't get eroded. And of course, fiat currencies continuing to do massive changes with debt and deficits and no sign of change for that front.
Bitcoin, we've got the halving coming up as well, potentially another underpinning of price. But who's been getting into these ETFs? Have you been able to monitor flows, Mike?
We have a little bit. Actually, so far, I think it's been mostly the smaller ticket sizes. So remember, institutions move pretty slowly, pretty glacially, frankly. I think we've seen a wave of retail here over the last 2.5 months. I think it's getting a little bit bigger. But the institutions, we've seen some smaller hedge funds come in, larger hedge funds will come in, pension funds are coming, and endowments are already here. So now that we have an ETF available, which is the distribution channel, which makes it super easy for everybody to participate, it takes a little bit of time to go through investment committees, but I think that we're starting to see that run up happen now, all through the summer. It rhymes, so you should say it, 80K by May.
80K by May.
The calendar item, the
80K by May. What do you guys think? I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities, right? It's what is that, like 2 months away? Not even, month and a half away.
Halving. What happens, do you think?
I mean, we already hit 74K, right? So
the halving is an interesting pattern that people look at, but I think really the most interesting part is the long-term meaning of the halving. So Bitcoin has a monetary policy, which was set in motion back in 2009, and it has remained completely unchanged since that time. It's the longest standing unchanged monetary policy in the history of mankind. And this halving is a demonstration that Bitcoin has a solid commitment, unchangeable commitment to that policy, which will keep going. So with the halving, the supply decreases on a block by block basis, which means that we see a lower rate of inflation. Some measure this stock to flow and other measurements of how you compare that to other assets and how they inflate. But Bitcoin's in a very good stead as one of the most static supply assets on the planet.
Shout out to Bloomberg Television for that. All right, let's go over to Yahoo Finance. Bitwise co-founder spot Bitcoin ETF launch was like Bitcoin's IPO. This was a couple days ago. This is over at the Investor Day over in New York City for Bitcoin. A bunch of people, like-minded people, I guess, get together, talk about Bitcoin and all this ish. We watched a couple clips on Saturday, actually, 2 days ago. So let's see what they got to say over here, guys. The like button. Appreciate you for hanging out and hate asking what YouTube makes me.
Welcome back to Yahoo Finance. We are live from the Bitcoin Investor Day, the inaugural Bitcoin Investor Day, I might add. And we're joined now here by Hunter Horsley, who is the Bitwise Asset Management CEO and co-founder. Great to have you here with us.
It's great to be with you, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got a vibing event taking place here today. Bitwise is represented. We know that Scaramucci, we know that Novogratz and Galaxy have all been here. Why do you think this meeting of the minds is so critical at this juncture for crypto?
Yeah, I think that, so Bitwise, we've been around for over 6 years now, serving investors across the country. I think that a lot of investors are very familiar with crypto, with Bitcoin, but the launch of Bitcoin ETFs was a turning point for the space. And I think that now is sort of the time that a lot of traditional investors finally feel that they can engage, and events like this are helping make that happen.
When we think about the ETF activity that we've seen as of recent, of course, milestone marker for the entire industry. We've seen a little bit of outflows recently for your own firm. How do you think about that kind of day in, day out, inflows, outflows, and ultimately what the selling point is for a lot of new people who are still trying to figure out whether or not it's right for their portfolio?
Yeah, it has been stunning, to be honest, to watch these Bitcoin ETFs come to market. The Bitwise Bitcoin ETF in 2 months has has grown to over $2 billion in assets. It is in the 25 fastest ETFs to $1 billion in the 30-year history of ETFs. And what that represents is a whole new class of investors who feel they've heard about Bitcoin for a long time, but finally, in 2024, they can participate, they can access it. I almost sometimes think of it as being a bit like Bitcoin's IPO. Maybe you've heard of AI, you've heard of OpenAI, but for most people, even though you're hearing about it, you can't necessarily invest in what's happening there until OpenAI goes public one day. And for many investors, Bitcoin has been like that. Particularly a lot of our clients that are wealth management firms or institutional investors, they've been interested, but now with the Bitcoin ETF, like the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF, they can get access, and so we've seen a huge amount of uptake in the 9 or 10 weeks since they launched.
When we look at the equity markets, and we typically are tracking perhaps a multi-day or multi-session sell-off, the investor sentiment, it can grow a little bit weary. It can be asking questions of, okay, what is the correct trade? Do I also need to get out of a position? When we see a multi-day type of slippage in crypto, what is the thinking that you're hearing from some that are out there right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. Right now, amongst our client base, I would say that people are pretty optimistic about the outlook for Bitcoin. We haven't seen clients really change their mind or change their positioning. Bitcoin is, of course, if you zoom out, up over 40% year to date, which is sort of doing what people would hope for the asset class.
You guys heard that, right? Up over 40%, year to date. I feel like people forget that we're ridiculously close to all-time high, regardless of, us dropping down to like 60K. We're at like, what, 67 now? Bitcoin's doing ridiculously well, regardless of all like the BS in the market, right?
Amazing year last year. And a lot of our clients take a long-term outlook. They invest because they have a view on what might happen over the course of a year or multiple years. I think a reason that a lot of clients work with Bitwise as a specialist in the space is because the space moves so fast. And when you have a week where the market is having volatility or something's happening that you don't understand, they love being able to have a partner in the space that can take them through what's going on. But I don't think that there's a really important development behind the price action this week. I think it's pretty typical Bitcoin volatility, and for some investors that creates opportunity. But I don't think that there's a real change to the fundamental opportunity of Bitcoin.
You've already got the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF out in the market. When Ethereum do you think next?
Yeah, so at Bitwise, we've been around for over 6 years. We have over 15 investment solutions. We launched a crypto equity, an ETF that holds crypto equities. It was the first ETF that the SEC allowed to have crypto in the name. We have the largest publicly traded crypto index fund. And I say that to indicate that we view our role as a specialist in the space as working to bring opportunities to investors when that becomes possible and when an opportunity matures. So we're working on an Ethereum ETF as well.
How soon could we see that?
So the SEC has a deadline to make a decision of May 23rd, which is
They're going to stretch it out as long as they can.
not too far off. I think right now, if you ask most issuers, you would say it's 50-50 what will happen. But our approach always has been to be a constructive partner to the SEC in evaluating the risks and considerations. And so if it doesn't happen in May, we'll continue working on it.
Just lastly, while we have you here as well, this is an atypical setup that we have going into a Bitcoin halving, where you've got all-time highs that Bitcoin and the crypto market cap is trying to get back to, but Bitcoin has already struck. What is that set up for this halving to be different, perhaps, in the price action that we might see?
Yeah, so historically, halvings are sort of become a focal point in advance because of the way that they reduce the amount of new supply, and that impacts price because of the supply-demand dynamic. Looking at prior halvings, there is usually a bull market, an extended bull market after the halving, regardless of what happens before. You know, beforehand, investors are trying to price in or speculate about the impact of the halving, but after it happens, it's like initiating a buyback program for a stock. You know, investors can take views on that in advance, but once the program begins, the company's out there buying back its own stock every day, and that has an impact on the market. And similarly with the halving, it will definitely have an impact. And I think it'll be very constructive to Bitcoin for Bitcoin investors.
Hunter Horsley, who is the Bitwise Asset Management co-founder and CEO, thanks so much for taking the time.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Yahoo Finance for that. Yeah, we're gonna. I think the Bitcoin halving is gonna be absolutely insane when when people actually realize how much Bitcoin we don't have now. You know, when things are halved from 900 a day to 450 a day, that supply shock is going to be giant just because of the ETFs. All right, let's move on to Mr. Lark Davis over here. I have a link to his videos and channel down in the description below. How high can Bitcoin go with this crypto bull run? Let's see what he's got to say over here in his channel. Let's do it.
How high can Bitcoin actually go this cycle? While predicting the exact top, of course, completely impossible.
Nobody
we can actually make some pretty interesting educated guesses, stand on the shoulders of giants, and look at some interesting ideas here. So let's, in this video, look at the catalysts that are driving this bull market, draw some charts, and look at how averaging the wisdom of the analyst crowd could help us predicting, well, where Bitcoin could be going in this cycle. Now, one way to look at the Bitcoin price is from the angle of two financial systems. You have the traditional financial system, and you have the crypto financial system. So these are like communicating vessels. Money can flow between the two. So for crypto prices to go up, buyers need to have money from the traditional financial system. The money is created by central banks, who provide banks with monetary ammunition to lend out more to people who go and speculate. Now, there's a fancy word for all this. It's called liquidity. And it ebbs and it flows. And in some periods with low interest rates, quantitative easing, and stimulus checks, money from TradFi flows richer than ever. At other times, you have high interest rates, tight fiscal policy, money is sucked back into the traditional system. And crypto prices go down, often dramatically and painfully. Here's a graph from the Global Macro Investor. The common way to measure liquidity is by the so-called M2. That's the total money supply, including all the cash people have on hand plus all the money that's deposited into checking accounts and savings accounts and money market funds and all that kind of stuff. Now, notice the correlation between the year-on-year change between global money supply and the change in the price of Bitcoin. Not a math doctor here, but that feels kind of relevant when you look at the chart. Now, look, if liquidity goes up, then basically numbers goes up for Bitcoin. Whenever the growth in money supply falls to zero or even goes negative, Bitcoin gets smashed and then shoots back up again whenever they start printing money again. Money printer go burr, baby. As you can see, global M2 growth bottomed together with Bitcoin in late 2022. And ever since then, it's been trending upwards, just like Bitcoin's been trending upwards. Bullish. So that's the monetary ebb and flow. But for money to flow into BTC, into crypto in general, you need on-ramps. You need the floodgates to be opened. Without a gate, the water can't flow between the traditional finance system and crypto. So here's the BTC chart with some historical floodgate launches until around 2012 when user-friendly exchanges such as Coinbase launched. It was very, very hard for the general public to get Bitcoin. If you look back in the history, there were people like literally going to some parks and stuff in New York and just giving people cash and getting Bitcoin sent over.
Did you guys, I have an old video with my man Yeti actually, and he he was telling me before like Coinbase and all these companies, when you had to like, you know, trade Bitcoin physically in person, he told me this whole like chicken shop story. Like he had to go meet this guy at like this chicken butcher shop, and like the guy gave him like 2 big bags of money, and he gave the guy freaking Bitcoin. It was like the craziest thing. Let me try and see if I can find that that video for you guys. I'll put it in the live chat.
That's crazy stuff.
If you're interested, it's
there
funny.
was no easy gate, no on-ramp back then. In 2013, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust launched so that accredited investors gained a gate to be exposed to the BTC price. The next big floodgate came in 2020 when apps like Cash App and Robinhood and PayPal all started allowing users to buy Bitcoin. There was a lot of new exchange launches and stuff in between those 2 big events. The most recent and probably most impactful floodgate is, of course, the launch of the spot Bitcoin ETFs in the US markets. We did get Canadian and Brazilian and some European ones over the past few years. But with the push of a button, every investor and wealth management platform in the world can now add BTC to their portfolio via these US Bitcoin ETFs. So to sum up this point, incoming flood plus new floodgate equals number go up. But by how much? Well, let's do some technical analysis. Let's get some charts out here, guys. But before we go into those price targets of the current cycle, let's zoom out a little bit. Here's the Bitcoin Power Law Corridor model. Now, this model isn't new, but has gained some renewed attention in recent months. It's been holding up pretty well and is relatively easy to use. Just look at it. Contrary to the common log linear plots, the Bitcoin Power Law uses logarithmic scales on both the x-axis and the y-axis. This way of plotting strips away day-to-day volatility and reveals an interesting relation between price increase and time increase. What the model roughly says is that it takes Bitcoin 50% extra time to go up another 10 times in value. As an example, let's, for the sake of argument here, assume that we will reach $100,000 in January 2025. Just an example.
Perfect.
That's 16 years after Bitcoin's launch. The time it will take BTC to reach $1 million per coin, according to the model, will be 50% more time, so roughly another 8 years, around 2033. Now, this model has so far held up pretty well since Bitcoin was worth pennies. Of course, there are wide uncertainty bands within the volatile price jumps up and down, so that's worth considering. Now, at the time where most people project the top of the bull market, that comes actually to be the second half of 2025, the model puts the Bitcoin price anywhere between $50,000 and $500,000. Yeah, big range of variation there, huh? With a fair value at 130K. So let's keep this model just in the back of our minds as really a very, very broad reference point, okay? Now we'll dive into some more detailed price predictions. By the way, if you want to know more about the Power Law model, a recent addition to our free Wealth Mastery newsletter actually includes.
All right, let's move on. Hold on.
So you can get it into your inbox and have. So Let's talk about diminishing returns. The power law corridor model shows us a straight line up. That's because time on the x-axis is compressed. But when measured in straight months or years, it takes BTC longer and longer to reach the same percentage gains. Put in a different way, the percentage gains per 4-year cycle have diminished since the first halving. Now, don't let this bum you out, okay? In absolute terms, the gains still increase every cycle, even though BTC's market cap increased a 40x from 8 billion in 2014 to 320 billion in 2017. The near 3.5x in 2021 meant almost another $1 trillion in market cap being added. Now, what will this mean for this cycle's top? Well, here's a chart from lookintobitcoin.com. The percentage gains from bear bottom to bull top decrease with very roughly a factor of 4 each cycle. So this implies a 5x from this cycle.
That's crazy. 370x here from the bottom. We had an 80x here from the bottom and a 19x here from the bottom. What are we gonna get, like a 2x? What's it gonna be? That's crazy.
For this cycle from the lows,
like
that
5,
roughly
maybe?
gives us a $90,000 Bitcoin. Obviously, we hope we're going to do better than that, right? That seems like a pretty lame prediction. But let's just get that bearish scenario put out there based on this model. Now let's move on to the more bullish way to look at diminishing returns. Here's a chart by Crypto Amsterdam. Unlike the previous example, he doesn't take the bear market lows as a reference point, but instead the Bitcoin halving as a reference point. What is the price of the Bitcoin halving? Okay, he notes that gains decline by about 72% per cycle post Bitcoin halving. The last cycle saw roughly a 700% gain post Bitcoin halving, assuming a similar pattern and a similar level of decline. The potential top could be $175,000, starting from a halving point of, let's say, around $60,000. That sounds like a much better number, doesn't it? But there's much more to say here. Fibonacci levels. If you've watched videos on price predictions for crypto or really any kind of asset, then you've probably come across the old Fibonacci, man. Whenever the price falls back or shoots up past new all-time highs, these levels represent different percentage gains or losses. The price often will find support or resistance at these particular Fibonacci levels. The Fib levels are based on previous movements. Prior price swings historically can sort of almost predict future price swings. It sounds crazy, but it kind of works out. Take the bear market of 2018 as an example. The price dropped from roughly $20,000 to $3,000. When the bull market returned in 2020, the most used Fib level, the 1.68 for this particular retracement, shows a price of 62K, which is indeed roughly where the price topped out in 2021. There's different ways of looking at the Fibonacci charts, by the way. I sometimes chart this as 3.618, but still just keep it simple for this example. Now, applying that same logic to the upcoming all-time highs, the important 1.618 Fib level brings us to roughly 174K. That's a 2.5x return compared to the prior bull market top, which is in line with the diminishing returns principle that we talked about as the bull market before that had a 3.5x from top to top.
You know, so yeah, he's showing all these charts and all that, but you know, somebody asked in the chat, kindly said ETF changed all patterns unpredictable ? And yeah, that's just honestly the amount of inflows we have or are gonna have for Bitcoin. When you know these small mom and pop shops, like the investing like platforms that aren't even like allocating anything into Bitcoin yet, say like New York Life and just like all these other places, right? Once they start getting on board with these Bitcoin ETFs into their IRAs and all that stuff, you know, allocating 1 to 3%, things are going to explode. And these charts could absolutely be irrelevant. You know what I mean? The old past history, like we never had this level of adoption coming up. It's so different now this time.
Still don't expect this Fib level to perfectly hit with perfection. For example, based on this level, the 2017 bull market should have actually topped out around $4,000. It's some reference for you. It actually went all the way up to 20K. So it's not a perfect predictor by any means. Maybe it's not even being bullish enough. So let's go to the fun part and look at some price targets from some different renowned analysts in the crypto space, some different veterans from the markets. First, we have Peter Brandt. He was already trading chart patterns of commodities like heating oil when I was probably in my diapers still. Okay, so there's that. Anyway, when someone showed him the Bitcoin chart a decade or so ago, he admitted that it was really trading unlike anything he had ever seen before. And he's paid quite close attention ever since then. Now, in this chart that he shared with Real Vision last year, he predicted that the current parabolic phase for Bitcoin is going to break at around $150,000. In a more recent tweet, he actually upped his target to around $200,000. And what about Raoul Pal? Well, the earlier chart of the global liquidity is actually from Raoul Pal, global macro investor. This former Goldman Sachs hedge fund manager turned crypto bull. No one's bullish enough, guys. No one's bullish enough except maybe Raoul Pal. Anyway, we see the liquidity as the main driver of crypto prices. His liquidity predictions lead him to a chart to see a BTC price of already 218K in 2024, topping out at 520K in 2026. It's a figure even he has a vocal
520K in 2026. That's what he's thinking. Raoul Pal is thinking that. Crazy.
bull finds sometimes hard to believe. Maybe divide this figure by 2 just to keep things sane. Now he assesses.
Yeah. Did you hear him say that? He said divide this figure by 2, maybe keep things sane. Yeah, because I think $500,000 by 2026. I don't know. There's money to be made. I don't know if there's that much money to be made though.
Himself in his videos, of course,
not yet
in this topic.
Maybe 2030s.
So look, we started this video with a rather bearish price prediction, so it's only fitting to, of course, end it with a more bullish price prediction. Now, do I believe that Bitcoin's market cap could, for example, overtake gold? Sure, absolutely. But do I believe it happens this cycle already? No, I'm not so sure. But you have some respected Bitcoin OGs, some different analysts such as Tour de Meester, David Bailey, who are predicting that, yeah, actually, this is a cycle we're going to take out gold. I don't know, maybe chill out on that a little bit. But if it did, that would imply a $600,000 Bitcoin. At that point, maybe Raoul's model is not so crazy after all. The reasons they think this are possible are the way that gold ETFs see outflows, while new BTC spot ETFs will see inflows from those gold ETFs, because obviously Bitcoin is better than gold. Here's a late February chart of BTC inflows, by the way. The pattern is pretty gosh darn clear. At the rate of which gold ETF is being overtaken by BTC, maybe we do get gold parity sooner than later.
Jeez, look at that chart. That's crazy.
600K, I'll take it. Tour de Meester and David Bailey think that this could be possible. Personally, again, I don't think we see such numbers until the next cycle, but I'd be pleasantly surprised if we do see it sooner. Anyway, this is just kind of a short list of price predictions, but I hope that you get a sense of the direction that we're heading. And do let me know down below what your price.
Yeah, we're heading up. That's the direction. That's all we care about, right? All right. Thank you. Shout out to Lark Davis for that. Let's get into Altcoin Daily over here. 2024 Bitcoin halving price prediction. This will happen. I wonder what he's talking about. Let's see.
The halving itself is a supply shock. You know, the supply of new Bitcoin introduced into the market declines each time that we have a halving. What we are seeing this go round is also a demand shock.
The upcoming Bitcoin halving is in less than 30 days.
With the introduction of 10 spot Bitcoin ETFs.
Combined with the institutional demand from the Bitcoin spot ETFs.
All of the inflows that are associated with that.
This sort of aggressive buying of Bitcoin from institutions like BlackRock pre-halving is something we've never seen before.
This is an atypical setup that we have going into a Bitcoin halving, where you've got all-time highs that Bitcoin and the crypto market cap is trying to get back to, but Bitcoin has already struck. What is that set up for this halving to be different, perhaps, in the price action that we might see?
How high?
It's funny that I picked the same news clip that he showed in this video, because I don't watch these videos before I play them with you guys.
High could Bitcoin go post-halving based on history? And watch today's whole video. We'll talk altcoins.
Yeah, so historically, halvings are sort of become a focal point in advance because of the way that they reduce the amount of new supply, and that impacts price because of the supply-demand dynamic. Looking at prior halvings, there is usually a bull market, an extended bull market after the halving, regardless of what happens before. You know, beforehand, investors are trying to price in or speculate about the impact of the halving, but after it happens, it's like initiating a buyback program for a stock. You know, investors can take views on that in advance, but once the program begins, the company's out there buying back its own stock every day, and that has an impact on the market. And similarly with the halving, it will definitely have an impact.
So the Bitcoin halving is not priced in. It will definitely have an impact on price. And
why I don't even understand why people say the halving's priced in. Like it's impossible. Nobody knows what's going to happen with Bitcoin. You can't price anything in.
Even though Bitcoin has been dipping in these last several days, actually down around 17% from all-time high, we know why that's happening. We're watching grayscale outflows, and by the way, they don't have that much left. Bitcoin net outflows in the last 4 days total 1.8 billion, while inflows by BlackRock's and other funds have been unable to offset them. In fact, we've only had 2 red weeks out of all the Bitcoin ETF's existence. And as grayscale sellers are slowly exhausted, while BlackRock buyers, most of them haven't even started yet.
A lot of these ETFs haven't even really started marketing their products to wealth advisors. You have very few wealth advisors that actually are recommending it to their clients yet. So we've yet to see the real kind of flow from alternative assets and retirement accounts, pension accounts into Bitcoin. That will come most probably later this year, early next year.
So how high will the Bitcoin price go? And again, just to explain why Bitcoin crashed, political insider Anthony Scaramucci first talks the Bitcoin halving and then explains how we always knew Grayscale was always going to have to sell.
And you had the halving coming up. And so at some point, late April, call it around April 20th or the 22nd, you'll cut the supply of new Bitcoin entering into the market by half. You'll start spitting out 450 Bitcoin a day.
Versus 900.
And if you have this pace of demand, that should push the price up a lot. But remember, I would have never guessed that Grayscale would have been cut in half 2 months into the Bitcoin ETF approval. So
what do you think's behind that right now? Because that's something we're
I think
tracking.
it's a combination of things. I think
them being greedy as fuck with their goddamn interest rates. What, 1.5? Everybody else is like 0.25. Of course people are gonna leave.
Bankruptcy trustees at places like Celsius, at places like FTX, Genesis, we could name them all, are flooding the market with their GBTC. And they're just trying to get a price above 60, so they're flooding the market.
Is that what you've heard, that FTX is?
I think FTX is already out. I think they sold a few weeks ago, but these other guys are still selling.
So just understanding where the Bitcoin price could go, first looking at past cycles and understanding 1 year before versus 1 year after the Bitcoin halving, we always see a rally into that event. We rallied over 400%, over 100%, over 76% into the last 3 halvings. This tells us to expect diminishing returns. As any asset gets bigger, the volatility will dampen. But it's interesting because a year before this halving, actually this is about over a month old, meaning 50% is now out of date for this halving, we've actually already seen an over 140% increase into this halving from the year before.
What we are seeing this go round is also a demand shock.
That does validate both the supply and the demand shock, telling us this time could be different. But after the halving for 1 year, disregarding we could have a potential sell-off the weeks directly after, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news, very normal. But zooming out 1 year, we've seen an over 700% increase, an over 280% increase.
But see, I don't think we're gonna see these type of swings anymore. Kind of like what you just said, the longer it's around, the less volatile it is, I guess, right? And I mean, if you look at the swings of gold, it's not really, in comparison to Bitcoin, it's not even close to how much they go up and down. Obviously, you see this peak right here, 2017, right? Was this 2017? Yeah, it's 2017, 2018 right here, right? This bull run and this giant pullback. I don't think we're going to see a massive pullback like this ever again. That's just my opinion. That's just, it's the longer it's around, again, the less volatile it's going to be. But I mean, that doesn't mean it's not going to be volatile to an extent, right? It's just, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be able to be manipulated that much anymore.
An over 400% increase last halving. And if we were to assume that we will see diminishing returns again, and maybe this time only a 200% increase, well, that would put the Bitcoin price 1 year out over 200% from where we are today. March, April, 200%. 200%, at a top of over $190,000 per coin. Again, this is assuming diminishing returns. This is assuming that this time's not different, even though in some aspects this time is different.
But we also never hit an all-time high before the Bitcoin halving. And so now we've violated that rule. And so being at an all-time high, going into a halving where the supply is going to get cut in half, I think people are like, oh, this could be different, right? This could be higher.
Is that creating a typical event, though, that we should be anticipating?
So I think what it just means is like we're in uncharted territory. Now, of course, people who hold Bitcoin are going to look at that optimistically and say, hey, that means the price is going to go even higher than we thought it was going to go. Another way to look at it, though, is just if we're in uncharted territory, anything could happen. Right? And so, you know, one of the scenarios people don't talk about is maybe we just go sideways for a long time. And that'd be kind of boring, right? And so I don't know what's going to happen, but I do think that, again, the beauty...
It would be boring as hell, but it definitely could happen. We could go sideways for a while.
And the simplicity of Bitcoin is that it is the full expression of kind of your economics 101 class. And so from an investor seat, you're like, wait a second, if there's more demand than supply, the price is going to keep going up.
This is an ongoing story. Be sure to click subscribe for one video per day, keeping you informed about crypto. And by the way, alt stream. And in terms of altcoin news, ChainGPT and Polygon Labs team up to boost AI-powered NFT development. I actually want to put two.
Now they're putting AI and NFTs together. AI-powered NFT development. What is this shit?
Different AI altcoins on your radar. One is AIT Protocol, the other ChainGPT.
Eat shit, Gary.
Both AI infrastructure for blockchain in two different capacities. But the news today is this integration with Polygon. ChainGPT recently integrated its AI NFT generator with Polygon.
All right, not enough of that. Oh. Hold on. Yeah, no, it's all going to be the same bullshit. All right, let's get into the recap segment of things. Shout out to Altcoin Daily for that. I mean, he's just chilling some bullshit right now. NFTs and AI narrative and all that BS is, yeah, shit's for the birds. All right, let's see. BTC, 67,178. Ethereum, 34.57. We have Solana's killing it, up 5.73% today, $187. We have ICP has actually been killing it as well, 21% on the day, $17. Everything else is, I mean, there's a lot of things that are up. AVAX is up, TON's up a bit. What is this? BTRS? I don't even know what this is. What the what is this is up 9 million%. What is this? Bitball treasure, what the hell is this? It's up 9 million%. I have never seen that ever. What is this? What is this nonsense? Hold on, what is this? This just come out today. Looks like it was flatlined until I don't even know. I don't even know how to use this. This is so weird to me. What is happening? Sell short, yeah, what the hell? Bitball treasure, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Anyways, all right guys, listen, I love you all. And yeah, I've been struggling through this entire stream, so I feel like absolute trash. I'm gonna go get some sleep. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me on the daily grind. I'm gonna try to get back here tomorrow. Hopefully I feel a bit better, but you guys all have a great, safe, and happy Monday, and I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning on the daily grind. Peace out, and thank you very much.